All right, so real quick, I know that one of the big things that Mango tweeted was like, hey, like I can't really freestyle at it anymore against players like Plup and Hungrybox. He's going to have to start, devising game plans because like winging it is just not cutting it anymore. And now I really tweeted out like just a few. I tweeted before top 8 that Mango's record against like the top 7 or so players, like Armada, Hungrybox, Leffen, Mewtwo King, Plup, and Zane, has been really bad and really poor. If you look at the last 12-month stretch, prior to Big House, it was a 5-20 record or a 20% win rate, and I think that's kind of showing that you just can't really wing it. You can still play like the Mango style, but you need to have your decision trees a little bit more well thought out. And so Mango against like a character like Falcon, Fox, and I would argue even Peach to a certain extent, like he knows what to do really well because those are the matchups that he plays all the time. He doesn't really play against a Sheik that's really thought out like how to deal with like Falco shield pressure and knows how to get out of situations and maximize the punishes of like Plup's caliber. And I really begin to see like Hungrybox and Plup, doing all the sorts of little things right to really prevent and minimize the number of interactions that are favorable to Mango. And also, if Mango does win the interaction, how do they minimize the damage? So not only is Mango winning less neutral interactions, they're just not really giving Mango opportunities to really capitalize on things that were a lot more punished in 2016. And not only that, Mango's doing less damage. So we're going to go ahead and look at this match and just kind of just see where Plup is just out game planning Mango. Now, I'm coming from the perspective that I'm not Mango's level. But at the very least I can analyze and point out certain things that in positions where maybe there's better win conditions for Mango to win the neutral game.
For the data that's in the database that I have access to, grassroots Toph, but here we go.
So right now it's kind of tough. Let's see. Let's go back to the beginning.
The database that I have access to.
So one of the big things that's like an issue in 2018 is when Sheik is in shield, you can do a bunch of variations like light shield. You can hold shield for a while. And there's different combinations that just get beat by many different things. So Sheik, just being able to nair out a shield is a really good tool to have. It's always going to be threatening, and I kind of view it similar to like a shield grab kind of thing. Like you always have to watch out for that because it's going to add reasonable damage. She can also roll in shield pressure. So as Falco, like you really have to begin to think of a plan to really figure out how do I either beat a nair out of shield, a roll, or some sort of interaction, or how do we make it so that the shield is so small that you find a poke.
The database that I have access to.
So far in that interaction, we really didn't see anything there so far.
Here we go.
And now Sheik gets a lot of damage.
Closer than that, but yeah, Plup is playing awesome.
It definitely feels closer than that.
Plup is playing super awesome today.
But Mango has had some.
So far, like we kind of look back in this interaction, right? It was just a weird skirmish that landed in Plup's favor here. Fair always good. When Mango's spacing this close to the fair with his laser, he's kind of anticipating that Sheik's going to move back, and if Sheik is going to roll away or do different options, then that laser's going to keep them in shield. But this time, Plup really just throws the hitbox, and he wins this interaction because Mango's trying to read a roll away or like a dash away, and he's trying to overshoot the pressure.
But here we go.
And the unfortunate thing is, like, right off this interaction, Mango started at 12%, and had he not messed up here, this would have potentially led to an offstage edge guarding scenario. So, like, he messes up there. He definitely didn't want to jab. I think he probably wanted to jump, and he probably pressed the button too early. Maybe go for a nair, land on the platform, and then dash attack, cover the roll away. Fortunately for Mango, he doesn't cover it either. So now you're in the situation where you could potentially get a shield drop back air here, but you need to leave the situation. Fortunately, Mango is on the edge of the platform that if Plup ever decides to hit the shield, he can just kind of slide off or even just shield drop.
that.
Plup is playing super awesome today.
So the issue here is that like there's just another modern technique. I mean, obviously like shield drop. This was a position that used to be very favorable for Falco before shield dropping was really commonly used, and now you really have to be careful in this spot where Falco can't really do much without the worry that that Sheik is just gonna get an aerial for free off the shield drop.
But they've, you know, Mango has had some sets versus Plup where he's really stoked.
So here, like, this is like probably a tactical adjustment where Mango's gonna have to do something different.
Plup is playing super awesome.
So one of the big highlights I think Mango has to figure out is that if Sheik is on a platform in this kind of scenario, which is going to be a very common thing, especially when you play against like Plup Sheik or any kind of shield dropping Sheik, this is a relatively safe spot for Falco, or for Sheik rather, and Mango's gonna have to discover like and really begin to work out what to do here where he can actually gain some ground. Unfortunately, just with how I imagine it, back air, shield drop nair, shield drop fair have so much range that I feel like backing off here is almost always just going to be like 99% better than trying to contest a spot. Because what's going to end up happening here if we go to our whiteboard is that if, let's say, we back air and we space to back off after, so we drift away, this kind of puts us in a rough spot because it's a pretty telegraphed move against Sheik. So on one hand, if Falco back airs here, Sheik can go down here, and now Sheik is in a good position and Falco has to fight for center stage. So that's not really a good spot. Let's see how this plays out again. So he does a full hop here, but now Falco's going to have to figure out how to land and get horizontal. So like the net result of this is not really good, where Falco, yeah, he has the dare, but if you're Sheik and you're underneath Falco, you have enough mobility to dash dance and possibly catch a bad aerial, and this is a relatively safe position for Sheik now. So the net result of this isn't good, and Plup can just simply hold shield here. So overall in this kind of like with Falco Sheik, like you want to be as horizontal as possible to fight Sheik, and being in this kind of relative position is not really good. And if this is your net result, then it's probably not good because you're literally hoping and fishing for Plup to just let go shield, and Plup's game plan here is to just literally hold shield.
You know, Mango has had some sets versus Plup where he's really stolen the win out of Plup's clutches. You know, it's felt like a done deal. You remember that one infamous up smash on
That's unfortunate. That's an unfortunate trade. So let's break this down a little bit. Don't really blame this here. Mango, I think, was a little bit too high for the weak nair to really just be CC'able, and ends up plopping him. Maybe Plup was a little slow, and that's why I didn't trade. We did do a double laser, but everything's super vulnerable because, like, even in this spot, like, she can spam nair, and something could potentially come out. So if Mango runs forward, that's pretty risky. You know, it's felt like a done deal. You remember that? Yeah. So even here, like, just the interaction on platform seems rather tough. Like, this happens, he pushes him off. Mango goes for a double dare, which I thought in theory looked pretty good, but instead that trades and he dies. So one of the big things we kind of have to really navigate here, point one, we're gonna have to figure out new ways to really just deal with the platforming Sheik. Maybe you just reset and you just shoot lasers and force Sheik to come to you. It's a very not Mango style, but it just looks like there's no really positive expectation in that particular position. Yeah, and so let's see how that started again. So invincibility. This is a rough spot for Sheik to deal with. The invincible Falco. Personally, like, I think what you could have done as like Plup is just kind of abuse the platform. Yeah. This is decent damage, but good SDI prevents anything from happening. Ooh, that's a lot of damage.
Plup with a bunch of really good answers for where Mango wants to be.
Every time I see Plup like use the platforms to like just generate these.
So overall, like, so there's like some good stuff here. I just kind of want to see what happens after. So he misses the dare, and now he's kind of in a rough spot. And this is kind of the difference between like Sheik and Falco. Like with Falco, just from my like experience with like how Falco jumps, like it's really hard to drift horizontally and maintain a lot of control. Whereas with Sheik, kind of in this position where Falco's on platform, I feel like I have so much control over like when and where I want to attack as Sheik, and I have a larger window of time where I'm around Falco's space. and I can throw out an aerial like as late as I can. With Falco, it seems like the jumping is a little bit different. It's a little strange. And it's really hard to be constantly threatening a hitbox on the other character, especially on a platform, where Sheik has an easier time just with the better drifting, in my opinion, and the better hitboxes overall with the fair back air and back air.
Feels closer, or maybe it's just
That's just so much damage.
Wow.
Who's to say?
Plup with a bunch of really good answers for where Mango wants to be.
Every time I
Alright.
see Plup like use the platforms to like just generate these.
So that's like really good.
Every time
I mean,
I
this
see
is where
Plup,
you
like,
just
use the
shark.
platform
Only Sheik, no doubt, no jump. Mango's really good at covering
to, like,
this.
just generate these.
Baits an air, but
generate these
I think that was an
shield
auto
drop hitboxes.
cancel.
Like, the way he does it is so picture
Can't
perfect.
really do anything.
Okay, big launcher. Really love when Sheiks get the get the down throw at the higher percents, and they don't even let you land for the tech chase. They just
All right,
kinda
he was really
calmly
quick on that.
floating.
Plup didn't expect the
Down throw
ledge
at the
dash,
high-
something that
big
Mango's
launcher.
done a lot this tournament.
Perfect every time.
So
Drop
let's
hitboxes,
see.
Like the way he does it is so picture perfect every time.
It's just so awkward. Like every time he tries to fight Plup on a platform, it's just like a losing condition. So like it all starts like here. He does a full hop nair. He does the nair here again, ends up going up, and now he's just in a weird path where he has to fight his way down. And like as Plup, you can now shark pretty well, and Mango's gonna have to figure out a way to get a horizontal again.
The way he does it is so picture perfect every time.
All right, another interaction skirmish. So let's see how that all kind of develops. So that nair leads him up. Mango tries to bail out down. Doesn't really lead to anything. Plup's still in pretty good position. Now Plup is here. This is going to be a really annoying spot to deal with as Falco. You really can't gain much unless you're really tricky with your timing. But overall, probably a net expected value interaction here. Now you're in this weird skirmish. Like I feel like this could go either way. But there's an advantage where Falco's going to have the shield, so up tilt's not really going to be available, and Sheik is facing Falco, so he can threaten a shield grab or do a bunch of options first. So overall, this like net position leads to a very favorable interaction for Plup.
Okay, big launcher.
And just easy, straightforward.
Get the down throw at the higher percents, and they don't even
Good
let you
hit,
land for the
but
tech chase. They
Plup
just
wasn't really
kinda
expecting
calmly
that
let
ledge
it float.
dash.
Okay.
regular get up.
Okay, so it's like looking okay, but right now it doesn't really seem like Mango can find a consistent way to hit him. Like he needs to be horizontal as much as possible, and it seems like just as Sheik, what she can do whenever she feels uncomfortable is she can just kind of back off and go to a platform, and it's going to be a really painful position for Mango to deal with.
Plup, I feel like he was at the percent where he's like, yeah, okay, I'll go for the risk. See if I
All
can
right,
get to the-
all that kind of started
Huge
with a
combo
shield
for
grab.
Mango.
53, but he's in a bad spot, right? The combo ended with him back against.
Nice.
Plup let him back. A little baby stanky leg. Falco with the down angle forward tilt, just pushing Plup just so far away.
These interactions are all starting because they are horizontal.
53, but he's in a bad
So
spot,
this is
right?
looking
Combo
pretty
ended with him
good.
back
Tricky
against-
recovery, horizontal.
A little baby stanky leg. Combo
Good
ended
interaction
back
here.
against
Plup expected Mango to just kind of rush in. Plup wanted to protect himself, so he threw out a preemptive hitbox, and if Mango tried to run forward with the laser, that would have been a winning interaction for Plup, but Mango ends up... Like, this is where, like, Mango does really well is if he mixes up, like, he doesn't have to go in every time, but the fact that he is willing to go in makes opponents throw out hitboxes like these. Like that preemptive hitbox is because it's a specific for Mango, because Mango likes to rush down. If you're a more defensive Falco and you like to shoot lasers, you would not see that nair come out.
A little baby stanky leg.
So we're horizontal again.
Falco with the down angle forward tilt, just
Weird,
pushing Plup just so
weird tech skill flub.
stanky leg.
Maybe that was
Falco
intentional.
with the down angle
That might have been actually. He might have wanted to shield poke,
forward tilt, just
but
pushing
he loses
Plup
stage
just so
position.
far
They get a
away.
trade. It's looking okay.
Oh,
Another laser forward tilt. This is
the
the
Laser
forward-
4 tilt.
this is the
Once
forward
again,
tilt.
they're horizontal, so it's looking pretty good right now.
Forward tilt.
And this whole like kind of sequence here looks really good.
Not letting Plup
There's the
back.
kind of
but yeah, this is a huge combo for
janky
Mango.
spot dodge shine,
53, but he's in a bad spot,
but
right? The
on
combo
this
ended
moment
with
he's
back
keeping
against-
Plup horizontal in this whole interaction, and Plup is interacting with him. I think if I'm in Plup shoes, I would just continue to abuse platforms and try to avoid skirmishes.
A little baby stanky leg.
All right, so we're still horizontal. Plup is either in shield and he's always like horizontal in this kind of sequence, which is going to be very favorable in general for Falco.
Just so far away.
Oh,
A lot of laser forward tilts, just wants a poke. That's a little greedy. I have to also point this out. I think this is a lot of discipline. That's a lot of discipline, and that's just like experience coming into play. Where I think a lot of people after the first 2 shines they panic and they want to press buttons or they want to roll. But Plup knows that he can hold shield just for a little bit longer. Knows Mango's playstyle, loves to throw out the sword smashes, and he knows that like really. Grab is not that threatening at this percentage at 100. Like you could forward throw, but you're not really getting much. So just like really good awareness that you can just hold shield and you're not really gonna get punished.
Showed us this on the Reeds. Lord was playing net play and it was actually incredible. Yeah, how much work laser forward.
So overall, really good stock.
Only a few stocks in.
That's right.
Oh, really good recovery.
All right, Mango now with a big.
All right, that looks good.
Lead, but he's, okay.
Oh yeah, that's really big. Right. Mango's getting confident here. It's looking good. Good recoveries. We said that we don't like when Mango interacts with Plup on platform, so that was a little risky. But Plup hasn't landed here, so I love the approach here. Sheik is in the jump. You get a free hit. Gets the shine, which is probably the best thing you can do here. And then he feels himself too much and loses momentum. So it's like looking pretty good so far. That interaction worked pretty well. Let's see what happens when he interacts with Plup on that platform on the right side. Alright.
That's right.
Alright, this is fine. Sheik is going to be really rough. You don't have to shield. As long as you're not underneath the platform, Bear can't hit you. So I'm okay with this interaction.
Respect it, though. Mango was at a high percent, I think. And, yeah, if you can, if you do the risk-reward, whether by doing
Alright, you're kind of playing with fire here. I think, again, just a little bit of a tactical adjustment. Where we see Plup shielded, I personally would just back off here. Either force Plup to do a shield drop and like maybe you can bait a baby up tilt or something and then just roll out. But to me, maybe there's like specific options you can do. But hitting the shield and full hopping above just doesn't seem to be a really kosher thing. It's a reoccurring pattern that's happening. So now Sheik is on the bottom and Falco's on top, and I don't really like the spot because you're not horizontal.
Just by feel, like. I think it was worth it.
Wow,
fortunately, that was a good trade for Plup, or for Mango, but different percentages could lead to a disastrous result. Oh no.
Mango DIing in a little too much. Plup gets the grab there. He does let Mango land. And that is
alright, that's just awful DI. I think this is like Mango just getting a little nervous. Like he wants to get as much damage as he can, but DI's in every time. So that was like a huge, like kind of unusual mistake of DI. Mango usually doesn't get hit by that. And I think what happens here, so like you're in a tie game and you just got whooped. Like the temptation is just to run in. I think it's like kind of. You're playing with fire when you're doing that, like when you're like ending up fighting these platform battles.
Like the quintessential.
Oh, he was a little slow there.
Okay, this is big, and he gets needle.
Yeah, let's see how that whole interaction happens. So here, like, okay, like here, let's see what happens. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I think Mango wanted to push buttons. It is just so threatening to deal with. I think the mix-up here was that Plup didn't shield right away. He went for an immediate hitbox. I think it caught Mango here, and then he ended up going off stage.
Yeah, that's just, yeah. Falco kind of a glass cannon-y kind of character, right? Where,
So it's unfortunate. So I just don't like the platform interaction very much, and just hitting with full hop.
Get hit like that, Mango playing a little bit loose with the stage positioning, a little bit loose with the trades, I
think that's a big thing. I think Falco can afford to get hit a lot of the time, but if your back is to the ledge, especially against Sheik,
I just think like this whole thing is risky. Like,
can afford to get hit a lot of the time.
You're on the platform right now, like And now what's happening is like this dash dance grab could have easily hit, and that could have been a lot of damage. But overall, just like a very awkward interaction that leads to like a really bad spot if you really just kind of play the situation out. And this all starts from like hitting Plup shield, like the whole reversal positions. Now you're on platform and you have to fight your way down, and Plup is easily on the ground. And the most important thing is that they're not horizontal.
You get hit a lot of the time, but if you're
and now this is just a really awkward spot, and it all started because of that. Like, granted, you can fight out of this spot. Like, there's other options Mango could have done. He could have like CC like down tilted, and there's options. But even then, like if you get the shine combo, like you get the SDI from Plup, and it's like 20 damage. And if you do not win this interaction, you're getting grabs, which could probably on average give you 30 to 50 damage. That's how much it leads to.
Who like really thrives on boxing you out and like putting up walls to like.
So far, this is 34 damage.
Control. You gotta know, like, you gotta stop jumping into stuff. That's exactly how Plup beat Leffen. Remember, that was the final.
Unfortunately, that's just tech flub, so
yeah,
that's not good.
Was like Leffen just kind of doing
this is a subtle defensive option. Just Plup acting so quick off of a dare, like, and Plup able to immediately shield, and now like Mango's in an awkward spot.
Like Leffen just kind of doing a simple double jump.
Honestly, I think another thing we can add to the game is abusing up tilt. I haven't really seen up tilt very often, and I think that's something that can call out those aerials. Like, it just straight up wins. So like doing a lot more up tilt in those kind of skirmishes like are so good against Sheik if you do it every so often.
He's making tiny mistakes here and there, but they're not the ones that
no combo once again. No follow up. Plup's defense is insane.
Oh, if he,
the PP for down tilt.
Turnaround those needles. Mango he definitely smelled. Wow, look at that spacing.
That was a really good bait. Every Sheik, as soon as you see that like kind of aerial, we feast our eyes on getting that potential like juicy dash attack or grab. He got baited here. Boost grab would have won. It's like a weird 50-50, but looks like dash attack would have definitely hit. I would have went for that dash attack.
Mango got a shield up in time, but oh my. Plup was dancing away from Mango.
Yep.
All right.
He thought Mango was either going to miss the tech there or tech in place. Mango
no follow-up again.
Around. I like that nair a lot.
Just barely missing.
I was kind of worried he was just going to suicide downer.
Yeah.
The way, the way these things go. Okay, Mango, I think
that would have killed him.
Yeah, he's dead anyway.
Yeah, I was expecting the air dodge, but honestly, I don't think that he would have landed on Randall. Even
if
with
he
the
air dodged
dodge he did.
Differently, I guess.
Yeah, it was like a little low.
Right. Mango, they're trying to laser forward tilt.
Shield CC is so stupid both sides.
Okay.
All right, once again, so this one I don't really mind in terms of the. So we have this interaction here. He won neutral, gets a CC shine. I don't mind attacking here because it's supposed to be a follow-up down smash. Yeah, a little too slow.
Wow, dude, Plup has been doing that. These anti-air up smashes. The thing about up smashes, it's so fast. Even if you whiff it, it's not really that easy.
Oh, that's so weird. Interesting. I'm going to look at that again.
Mango going right for the ledge. Tournament winner. And Plup.
Yeah.
Oh, doesn't matter.
That looks clean.
Plup,
can't figure out a way to hit him. Let's see how he loses this interaction.
It's so fast. Even if you whiff it, it's not really that easy.
The recovery. Oh, charging just a little bit too much. Mango going right for the ledge. Tournament winner. And Plup,
I think there's just like a huge spacing adjustment needs to happen.
Dude, Plup has been doing that. These anti-air up smashes. The thing about up smashes, it's so fast. Even if you whiff.
Great. I guess I think this is like a winning position for Falco, like finding your way down. But like I also have to keep in mind that like Sheik's horizontal range you still have to respect. In my opinion. So like you still have back air interfere that you have to respect. So maybe like if you want to play it quote unquote lame. I mean, I don't really blame this position. Like it's pretty favorable. If you can get underneath Sheik, you do end up winning a pretty good trade. I guess if it looks ambiguous and it looks like you can't straight up just beat the spacing on fair back air, like maybe you go this way, but then that gets yourself cornered. So I don't really blame it. It just seemed like an interaction that like just Plup outplayed him. Like I would personally stay in that spot.
Charging just a little bit too much. Mango going right for the ledge.
Another tournament winner though.
And Plup,
oh, doesn't matter how good you get those needles sometimes, man.
Super well positioned to go up 2-1, 2-0 in this set, and the Mango every other year is
the
feeling
is getting
All right,
Yeah,
bad laser.
Plup is seeming like he's got something big and important to say about it.
All right.
Oh. Macy, and if that happens, a repeat of last year's grand finals would be.
I'm trying to like figure out like.
That's right. Oh.
Okay, that's so. It's. I don't know if this like leads to like consistent results. It just seems like kind of. It's very messy.
Macy, and if that happens, a repeat of last
Fortunately,
year's
Mango
grand
was
finals
low enough percent that he's not gonna get dash attacked into tech chase.
That's right. Oh.
CC is so good.
Okay,
Broken.
so Mango at 50%.
This is a really hard way to come back. You have to win so many neutral
especially
interactions.
When you're jumping from the ledge like that.
It's grab. Bad tech skill.
Shield up by accident. Mango just playing a little bit cool.
Yeah, I would say Mango with
Not
more
playing
unforced
high.
errors than Plup.
Yes.
Like, you can't combo that. It's insane. Nair doesn't combo there? What?
Okay. The pressure. Oh, the Shy Guy makes it misses.
Yeah, all these
But
little
doesn't matter
things
too
that
much.
Plup's doing to like not get hit by things.
Can't get away. Can't get away. As soon as Mango got knocked down.
I think just like from a stage standpoint, like, I mean, I think the win condition is that you're horizontal in Falco Chic, and the fact that on Yoshi's you're not really ever horizontal, like just how small the stage is, like it's hard to get winning positions because like you can always bail out onto a platform if you're
You
Plup.
know what? Mango said sometimes, you know, it feels like
Oh, that's
Mango's
crazy.
just like,
That
you know what,
wins.
I'm going to win or I'm going to lose right now, and I'm going to do the same thing that I'm a very stubborn feel, you know, from his timing on character
Okay.
select. Those are the little
So
very
far we're seeing
stubborn
like in almost every
feel.
given instance that
Win or
he's
I'm
like
gonna
just
lose
running
right now,
in,
and I'm going to do the same thing that I'm a very
like
stubborn
running in right away.
feel, you know,
So
from
like it
his
looks like he has a
timing on
very
character
predictable like
select. Those are the
timing
little
to like
things.
running in right now.
And,
Needs to add like that half cadence
Mango
dash
didn't even
dance
try to
here.
recover there.
yeah, this is
Now he's looking to
That's
try to
not looking
force
good
something.
any
He's
way,
running
shape, or
in
form.
every
Maybe
time.
saying, get rid of this
And
stuff,
Plup,
a little
I mean,
bit
at
of
this
genius,
point,
a little bit
if
of,
you're playing an
superstition.
opponent that just wants to throw hitboxes at you and run at you,
You
you
know,
just throw your
not
own
necessarily the
defensive
time.
hitboxes. The worst thing you can do
It
is
was
run away,
moments like
actually,
these a long time
or
ago
like
that
shield.
Mango
You
Champions
throw
started
counter
coming out
hit.
where I
You
feel
throw
like the
counter
crowd
punches
would
right away.
That's actually so continue.
almost telling Mango like, dude, don't give up. And like the crowd was just begging him like, please try to bring this back.
Overall, just kind of forcing a lot.
Just
Plup
doesn't happen.
knowing
It just
this.
doesn't happen
It just
anymore.
doesn't happen anymore because when you see the same movie,
And I just have to wonder like,
Yeah, he's just running
it
in.
could be, yeah, it's one of those things where it's a chicken and the egg. But you know, you gotta believe that it just didn't happen enough times that you know, showing a little bit of signs of life from the crowd. But like I said, we've seen this picture before. Oh, beautiful
right,
show drop.
yeah.
It's one of-
Overall,
you know what
I
the
mean, it's
other
like
thing
running
is?
in. It
It's,
works sometimes,
these
but
relationships,
like,
believe it or not,
what you have to
between
do is you have to
player
mix
and
it up. You have to
fans,
rein
it's
it
a
back. It's
two-way
like
street,
pulling the
just like
chair
any
out,
other
where
one.
like you expect the person to come in. And when you're running at the certain cadence and your opponent's adapting by throwing out a bunch of hitboxes, what you do is you pretend run in, they throw the hitbox, and then you punish them, and then you always stay one step ahead of that rock paper scissors interactions on, like just running in, and like or the timing of when you run in. So if you just run in all the time, like you just throw defensive hitboxes like right away, and then you win that interaction. And the counterplay to that is just to not attack and to just delay it just a half a second, bait the hitbox, and then run in. And so far, we're not really seeing that here.
So
It seems
what's
like
the
we
crowd
got
saying,
fast
Mango,
and
show us
faster from
something.
Mango.
Give us a reason.
Okay.
That's right.
You
He's
know?
waiting a little bit. He
And
waited a little
certainly
bit.
did earlier
That
this
half a
turn
second
this
wait
event.
got him that shield.
Wow, forward,
Okay,
uh,
needs to bait. Okay, that was a good bait. So just like that minor pause. See, he paused and didn't throw that hitbox there. That's how Mango wins. It's through mixing up these timings. And when Mango is kind of on tilt and he's trying to even the game out and he throws the Hail Marys, it's let's go in, let's go in, let's go in, let's go in. And no nuance to it.
Oh. Okay.
So see, normally, like, if you're Plup, like, and you're like, why is he throwing that really bad hitbox? The only reason why that happens is because it's a player-specific interaction. It's not a character interaction. Right now, it's like when you play, like, I guess, like, Tom Dwan in poker. He plays so aggressively that it leads into very awkward situations, and people who play against him either look like geniuses or they look like the worst poker player ever. So you would not see that panicked fair from the ledge from Plup against any other player.
Well, everything, you know. Yeah, all things
That's
considered.
unfortunate.
Plup, yeah.
That's
Any kind of momentum was lost in that
Mango just
moment.
like, I don't know why, he's just playing around. Look at that, playing around by the ledge a lot. Yeah, it's working out a lot, but I mean, the risk reward is just such that if it ever
Yeah,
goes
Tove
wrong,
is saying the same thing I'm saying.
Falco.
Oh,
But
jumping
Plup.
into it. Randall's
Okay.
there. Mango ready for it. I like the forward smash.
Yeah, simple.
Oh, double poop,
Yeah,
unfortunate.
crazy back air from Mango. There's a Hail Mary. Oh, gets the
Yeah,
next
just
one. Wow,
CC
that
is
was
getting him a
super
lot
lucky
of
with the
leverage,
combo.
but
The way
like
that combo's playing
CC
out,
only really
it's almost
works
like,
if you win with it, like if you're like implicitly behind.
Okay.
So that's like the
Catches
tough
that
part
nair
of
from
it.
Plup, and it's
Yeah.
an even game now.
Oh, that's
man.
There's a
unfortunate.
big hit.
Okay, here's
CC
the
just
open up
really
for
being
Mango.
abused here.
Looking for something.
No
Plup.
jump.
Yep.
Wow, Plup sneaking out a nair. Oh my word.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And
That will do it.
the call out Plup just like
Yeah.
that was react.
It kind of worked out for him in the end. Like he started like mixing up little timings, and just like throwing Plup off just like 1 or 2 times is probably going to be good enough to like kind of make things a lot more unpredictable. But the first 2 stocks, like he was just going all in, and I think just like way too much of a lead to like kind of bring it back. This is kind of the I mean, as like Fox Falco, you do have a bunch of stages, like, and Plup has shown that he's not really willing to camp. So like Falco Dreamland could potentially work. You have Fox FD or Falco Samus on FD. You do also have Stadium. Like these are all stages that can work out really well for him. Like there's like 3 to 4 stages that like that if Mango really wanted to, like he can pull out that might be better than these thin 3 platform stages. Of course, you know, I think there's a lot of things like, but like we might point out a few things like Mango making a few tech flubs. Like I also saw a good amount of tech flubs from Plup side of things. So it's like not just like a one-way street where like Mango needs to play better, because like technically even though Plup won 3-0, like Plup could have also like made less mistakes on the follow-ups, and they were just simple like unforced tech flubs that like ended the combo early. So I think there's going to have to be a large revision in game plan against Sheik. I don't think the full hop nair onto top platform to beat Plup's shield drop is going to have enough value. I think you just play it back and go to the other platform and force Plup to stay horizontal with you and create the minefield that he has to navigate to hit you. So those are kind of my thoughts, just like from looking at this really quick. I think there's a lot of other little things that can be done. Plup is amazing at his defensive options and his DI. There are many interactions that against like most other Sheiks, even Mewtwo King, where those aerials would have led to shines, which would have led to a bunch of other hits. Against Plup, it seems like you only get one. So I guess like as a mix-up, potentially what you could do is like nair or dare, and then immediately grab instead of shine, if that's like a different option. But unfortunately, DI is getting really good against shine or grab, so you don't really get much. So those are kind of my thoughts on this. Mango Plup.
It's in the database that I have access to.
Oh, we just watched this. Mango Hungrybox was the other set.
Here we go.
You want to be one with your character. Mango with the fastest shine grab known to man. I actually think it was like pretty much frame tight because Hbox was light shielding.
All right, that's unfortunate.
But Hbox answers right back up throw rest. The Fox killer, but it's not going to matter in terms of the overall stock count.
You
Because
know what percent he was at?
47. That kills as early as like 35.
No way.
That kills Yoshi's. It kills like Puff is light.
Okay, this is like looking good so
And
far.
especially
Hungrybox
as
probably
super
still having to
strong.
figure out Mango.
Very, very, very,
Dude, if you fully charge it like
he just did. Yeah, he definitely did. It was you know.
So right now,
as
Mango's
I
really
pretty
keenly
good
aware that
try.
Hungrybox is going
You
to jump
know
in
that
certain drifts,
Puff
so that's why
wake
he's
up.
catching him on
Yeah.
right now.
I feel like I always just get a little. I think if you haven't specifically practiced for it, you get a little bit jittery.
That's right.
Once you're gonna wake up, I just don't want to miss this whole.
Ooh, that was really good from Hbox. One thing I've thought about.
I think the one thing that's important here, and this is where Hungrybox is winning. So like, normally in this spot, it's like you kind of anticipate like Hungrybox going to be running away, like he's ledge camping, and that's like the one option you kind of expect. And Mango is now like, because we saw this, like Mango is getting iced out by Hungrybox with the ledge cancels. Like the moment that Hungrybox shows a little bit of like meat or the fish on the table, Mango's thinking like, I run in, Hungrybox is going to run away, and I'm going to overshoot and catch him. But the counter to that is you can just throw a hitbox and you can beat out the play before it happens. And that's the mix-up that I think is really winning Hungrybox a lot, is that he's camping a little bit, and then he comes in, makes it look like he's going to get makes it look like he's going to run away again, and Mango's going to try to overshoot, and then he's getting caught.
A little bit jittery.
That's right.
When's she gonna wake up? I just don't want to.
So he runs in instead of running away, and that earns this neutral interaction.
What I've thought about, you've got to do, well, maybe it's fine because he's trying to get a rest, like get a rest out of Hbox. But Hbox doesn't bite, he back airs. One thing I've thought about recently, by the way, Hbox, so he does this ledge camp kind of thing where he plays a lot of his game off stage, kind of lure the opponent in. One reason it's actually
ledge
really
camp,
good that we've
ledge
never
camp.
talked about is that you can't get hit confirmed. Lure the opponent in.
So now, like, it used to be ledge camp, ledge camp, ledge camp, and ledge camp, and the moment he starts ledge camping, and then going back on the stage, he would go back to ledge camp. But now he's adding in another option to prevent the overshoot, and he's just throwing out a lot more hitboxes.
You can't get hit confirms on him.
So that was a gamble, but he's moving forward, and he's not just moving back the whole time, and that's keeping Mango really honest on the aggression, because every time Mango wants to run in through a distance, he's just getting hit by a hitbox.
So if you nair, if Mango nairs him right here, weak nair, combos an up. Oh.
Now, the positions that are favorable for Mango are obviously going to be coming up. So let's say Hungrybox overcommits, and now he's in a spot where he's in shield. This is the interaction where Mango's going to have to make the right play to rack up damage. In this spot, Hungrybox could potentially up smash out of shield. He's probably going to roll, or he's going to spot dodge. So it's up to Mango to apply just enough pressure for Hungrybox to feel threatened so that he can't just jump away. And at the same time, he's going to have to be able to time things so that he can get the up smash, the grab, or whatever he needs to just rack up damage if it's lower percent, or rack up the kill, which is where Puff, because Puff is at kills percent, he needs to be looking for a kill confirm. In this spot, I think if you're like really good, Puff's roll animation is actually deceptively laggy, although we see, you know, Hungrybox roll into like spot dodging over and over again. There is a lot of lag to it, so I think recognizing the moment that Puff is rolling is going to be key, and I think that's something all Fox mains can get a little bit better at. Nonetheless, this is the spot where Hungrybox is vulnerable. If you play like a boss, like a cliche Nintendo boss, this is a phase where the boss has a weak spot. Let's see how it plays out.
If Mango nairs him,
he gets the roll, he reads the roll, and if Hungrybox DIs in instead of away, I think he ends up eating like another aerial, potentially an up air, and that could lead to a kill. Maybe this was an up smash from Mango, or maybe Mango didn't want to quite risk it because the input's more strict, and he ends up with just that damage.
Right here, weak nair.
Okay, he almost got it. That was almost a kill.
Wow, that's just a tomahawk up smash.
Yeah. Dude, it works. But yeah, off stage you can't do that. And so like Hbox, a lot of the time the reason you don't see these players mount offense on him is because of the way he plays and where he.
So I like this top tactical adjustment.
Like Hbox a lot.
Mango's fighting in the corner, and once the invulnerability comes out, you kind of expect that Hungrybox is going to play back a bit. And every kind of situation where Hungrybox can drift away and start camping, or if he's going to read that Mango's going to overshoot, then he's just throwing a hitbox.
A lot of the time, the reason you don't see these players.
So in this spot, in this spot, he gets that, and now they're right next to each other. And instead of running away, he's actually drifting forward into Mango. So a lot of different timings, a lot of different aerial patterns, and a lot more random aggression being thrown in is actually countering a lot of like Mango's like kind of movement patterns and aggression.
See these players mount offense on him is because of the way he plays and where he plays.
Oh.
Rest.
Yeah, that
no
one,
DI.
You know,
Mango knows better.
We're gonna find a different punish here.
That's right. It's not. Nothing is gonna kill. It's the best you can do.
So now we see things reset here, and probably we're gonna see Hungrybox try to ice him out. But I think what's going to happen again, I don't remember the set, Hungrybox is probably going to get on stage, and instead of running away, he's going to go run into Mango and throw a hitbox. See?
You know,
even though that doesn't quite work out for Mango there.
Yeah, it worked out.
He's going to ice out a bit,
the hitbox is out for
and he runs forward again. He does not pull back. So another interaction where it's very unexpected, but he's moving forward. It's not running away. And so this interaction is actually throwing off Mango a lot.
Oh, gets attacked.
Especially when it comes down to getting him to 60 plus versus not, it's super worthwhile. Because now he's at kill percent.
Hungrybox with a comfortable lead. Probably not really.
All right, not really a good.
That's right.
Oh, but
not really a good gamble that almost kills him.
Oh, he's not ready.
Hungrybox doesn't respect that. It's Mango. The ledge dashes are coming out pretty good.
You know, Hungrybox more or less minding his own business, but
yeah,
got caught by the Fox. And now it's up to Mango to get in, make something happen. Oh, scouting just a random short hop at neutral. but not a lot of damage. Jumping over the grab. Hungrybox looking for a way in.
Oh, unfortunate.
Yep.
And
Yeah, just
looking for
here's like another action where we think something different's gonna happen, and I don't think Mango anticipated this either.
Hungrybox looking for.
So here, like normally, like you think that so Hungrybox throws the first back air here, and normally if you're in Mango shoes, you're probably thinking Hungrybox is gonna run away this way or this way. He's gonna drift away, but the fact that Hungrybox goes straight at Mango means that Mango's gonna have to hold shield for a longer period of time, or else things like this happen where he's just gonna get hit in the face. I don't think he expected that hitbox to come in. Really good unexpected aggression is what's winning Hungrybox a lot of these neutrals.
Lightning quick reactions.
Absolutely. I mean, it might just be a read at that point. Like,
so these are just like really interesting timing windows that we're seeing. Anytime that Hungrybox feels uncomfortable, we've seen that traditional let's ice him out, let's drift really high and away. But we've seen Mango's really good. The moment you turn your back on him and you try to run away, like Mango's ready to read that jump. You've seen that a few times this set. Read the dash away and just take all that space. But Hungrybox is mixing it up just enough that he's getting hit by these random interactions.
it's a 50-50 between
One going to Hungrybox.
Yoshi's is traditionally a stage that Mango's done really well on, but he ends up losing 2 times here. And to my knowledge, I think that's only happened like maybe it's like at EGLX or something, but Hungrybox winning Yoshi's twice has probably only happened this tournament and maybe definitely one other tournament and maybe 2 other tournaments.
You see the up B, man, it's curtains.
Game 1 going to Hungrybox.
That's right.
Okay, so this is kind of the spot where you have to be really good. This spot, the really average foxes will just throw shine. Doesn't lead to anything here. It leads to a little bit of shield damage. Hungrybox gets away for free. But in this spot, you have to make that next level read. And this is a situation that if you really want to get good at Fox Puff, you have to understand and be able to react. It's kind of like the Sheik tech chase moment against a Spacey or a fast folder. You really need to know what to do here, and you need to be able to consistently maximize the damage in this interaction.
Game 1 going to Hungrybox.
That's right.
Mango taking Hungrybox to Yoshi's story, much smaller stage. Oh.
Unfortunate.
Wow. Mango's been getting up the rest.
So unfortunately, the early rests have been setting the tone for this match. He never really started with a league that he normally does.
Yeah, so it's just
this is kind of an interaction, so like this is another good spot against Plup. You know, platformed Plup isn't really good, but in this spot, like Hungrybox doesn't really have many options, and Mango has all the stage, so he needs to also be able to rack up damage quickly here.
It wasn't quite, it wasn't quite there. See, the way Hbox plays where he's at right now, there's just not much of an opening for Mango to get the kill. He's got
Getting iced out.
Mango's not known to be the most patient player.
No, that is for sure. Yeah, and I like that. Oh.
So classic. That was probably not a good gamble. I think Mango's starting to notice in this particular part that Hungrybox is gonna try to gamble hard here, and given the percentages, I think that's probably what led to Mango assuming that was going to be a big gamble. Hungrybox at 109%, Mango only at 12. If he got a pound into a tech chase into a rest where Mango doesn't tech the pound, like that could be a kill. And I think Mango recognized that if Hungrybox could get a 1-for-1 trade here, that'd be really huge.
Oh, that's a pretty good punish. Yeah. Crazy pound, not even in the air.
Yeah.
Just done it on the ground.
You don't see ground pound very much.
No.
So it's overall looking pretty good.
2 grabs.
A spot where Mango is playing pretty disciplined.
Mango, if he jumped at all, he was going right there. Jab reset.
Yep.
Unfortunately, this is just a really good adjustment from Hungrybox.
If he jumped at all, he was going right there. Jab reset.
Yep.
2
Let's see it again.
I mean, hey.
You're next to Hungrybox. Hungrybox can turn and grab. The natural reaction is to jump. I think in this situation you could actually roll, and it's pretty healthy because Hungrybox is on the outside of the stage. I think rolling might be just a better option than jumping, because what happens if you roll in the spot where Hungrybox is on the outside is the most that Hungrybox can do if he super hard reads it is 1 single back air, which is CCable. But if he does jump with you, then you are kind of screwed, and this is what happens
Mango,
here.
If he jumped at all, he was going right there. Jab reset.
Yep. We used to call that the Mango many years ago.
yeah,
many years ago. It's a different.
So unfortunately, he has to play from behind. He's trying to force something. Hungrybox is in the corner. He just has to kind of respect ranges.
That's the most believable thing that I've heard all week.
All right, no DI.
Not good DI.
No,
not ready for that back air, I guess, or just
he
kind
moonwalked
of doing the aerial drift.
Let's see how he gets that read. Let's
Not
go
good
back.
DI.
No,
not ready for that back.
And we've seen the common trend here is Hungrybox is usually in the prior stocks and in this particular interaction where Hungrybox is invincible and Fox is in the corner. Hungrybox is going to jump straight, covering a forward momentum jump. However, we've seen in prior interactions Mango jump straight up, and so Hungrybox has recognized that instead of jumping in place to cover the jump in, he is preemptively going towards the right, and he reads this and gets the kill.
Back air, I guess, or just kind of
or like almost gets the kill. That would have been that was a really good read.
Random. He did the basic, the normal.
This is actually not too bad. Like we had one early rest and one like SD. This game was definitely winnable.
Yeah, but Hungrybox put on so much pressure just at that moment. He was following everything Mango did up, and yeah, while he was off center, yeah. Oh, that's not a real grab.
Mango's not happy about that.
Oh my god.
That's a fake grab. Mango living.
Yeah, he makes it back. Hbox goes too low.
Yeah, that's a.
This is definitely doable.
Unique to Yoshi's story. That the blast one's right there.
And definitely not what he wanted. I mean, that's clearly a negative.
So Hungrybox is looking for a jump here.
How is he getting these reverse grabs? I'm sorry.
Getting hit by the.
Oh, that was a misinput.
That's right.
So right now, Hungrybox in this mode is just literally fishing for the jump.
Still, oh, he was too low. I really thought that he was high enough to seeing as some of the other. I think I have a pretty good idea. So like, there's two big things that are happening, and there's a really interesting shift in kind of like what they were looking for. So Hungrybox game one, what was a really keen observation or kind of like a change here is that when Hungrybox is icing out Mango, he's not simply defaulting to running away every time. He's throwing forward momentum hitboxes, which is something we don't really see in this very often. But I think Hungrybox recognized that if he keeps giving Mango space, then eventually Mango's going to take most of the stage and also eventually find an overshoot read that will end up racking damage. So instead of having to deal with that, Hungrybox is throwing in forward moving hitboxes to counter the overshoot reads and a lot of the things that Mango wants to do. Because as Fox, you don't have that much like kind of a horizontal hitbox that like really sticks out like a Marth sword, so you have to run forward really hard, and if you are trying to catch a Jigglypuff drifting away, you have to run forward really far and then jump and throw the hitbox, and Hungrybox is just snuffing out the running in portion of that kind of approach. We're also seeing here is, I think, on Mango's side of things, just not being able to recognize that Hungrybox is specifically looking for jumps nonstop means that like A, you need to be really careful, and B, you can be able to bait certain things, because when you're looking for a jump, what Hungrybox is really looking forward to is jumping underneath Fox, looking for the up tilts, looking for the up air, and you can play different zones here if you recognize that Hungrybox is specifically looking for that. So I think there needed to be an adaptation here, because Hungrybox is really fishing for that specific read. So, I mean, this game, too, at least on his counter pick, did not...
What was that? How is he?
Mango,
how did he die here?
Sorry, reverse back air coming in. What was that? How is he?
Mango too low again.
And once again, just falling behind. So I think that's like kind of it for the analysis here. Like, unfortunately, he just fell behind. You can't be making mistakes. These games are doable, but But I think the kind of troubling statistic here is that even though like a few little mistakes would have potentially won Mango game, these are on Yoshi's story and not Dreamland. Like if it was a really close game on Dreamland, then we could say, yeah, that's doable. But at the very least, I think in terms of expectation, I think Mango at the very bare minimum needs to be winning Yoshi's on average by at least like one stock lower percentage or two stocks per game. And the fact that even without those mistakes, these games were still pretty close. Means that he needs to be doing more, and frankly, I think if you're losing on Yoshi's, like you're getting outplayed. So those are kind of my thoughts. So overall, there are like a bunch of little things that could be done from a macro game perspective. And as Mango said on his his tweet, like he has a really good idea of understanding tempo, especially in the Fox matchup when he plays Falco Fox. Like if you really watch it, Mango's able to outmaneuver Leffen and almost play like this like kind of 4D chess kind of thing with like what Leffen wants to do, and he snuffed out all the approaches really well, and you could see that there's like a really good mastery of understanding that. And granted, Leffen did mess up a lot. Here there isn't that nuance, there isn't that multiple game plan thing where you can shift your cards really quick. It seems like there's only one singular game plan. If that gets countered, then you don't really have other options to really look forward to. So those are my thoughts on this matchup. Definitely doable. Not having the lead hurt a lot, but little things could be done to, you know, potentially shift this in a different direction. Alrighty, that ends that.